Joining us, I'm Zach Lajway. Before we get to that, I want to talk about how the Harris County District Attorney's Office continues to prolong the deadly Harding Street raid case from 5 years ago. Yesterday, a judge dismissed the felony murder indictments against former Houston police officer Gerald Goines. 2 people died during that botched drug raid. KPRC2 investigative reporter Mario Diaz is here to talk about the importance of this case. Mario, good morning. I know you've been covering this story since it broke 5 years ago. I want to start this conversation by talking about the 2 people who lost their lives during this raid.
Yeah, that's Dennis Tuttle, Regina Nicholas. Dennis was 59 years old. You see him right there on the left. That image has become one that you just cannot erase because we've seen it so many times. Regina Nicholas, she's 58 years old. A neighbor started this all by claiming that their daughter, called 911 and said that she was doing drugs inside their home. There were guns there. And that's where Gerald Goines comes in. He gets a tip from this, right? He finds out from the patrol officers that were there after it was all put down on paper. This, according to the former police chief, Art Acevedo. And they start to build a case against those 2 individuals right there, Regina and Dennis. That leads to a warrant being created, a no-knock search warrant. And that ultimately is what led to their deaths here, because you had officers showing up to this very, very modest home, in Pecan Park. I'm talking, Zach, it's about 1,100 square feet. Oh, wow. They show up on a Monday afternoon. They set up behind the trees, ready to go, backing them up. Again, they believe they have a legitimate warrant here, a legitimate warrant. They get up behind the trees, they sit in, and then you have the guys come in and no knock right away, bust right through. They said they claim police, they claim there were sirens, still trying to get to the bottom of it. They go in, it was over in a matter of seconds.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, going back to that day, was this decision a surprise to many?
Yesterday's decision was shocking, right? Because here we are, we're this far down the road, this far down the road with this case. And then suddenly you find ourselves going back to the beginning of it saying, hey, we're going to drop these murder charges, the state of Texas murder charges against Gerald Goines. Again, here we are 5 years after this incident has happened, more than 3 years after they have been charged. And suddenly, it's almost as if you're back to square one again.
So does this mean Goines is clear of state murder charges?
No.
Okay.
Because what can happen now is really simple, They can take this back to the grand jury, which is what's expected to happen here, and give it a dime. Now, what I was asking yesterday was this. In the original charging of Gerald Goines, back in, I believe it was August of 2019, and there's Gerald Goines right there. What they did was they immediately directly charged him, meaning they didn't quite take it to the grand jury at that moment. It was a direct charge from the DA's office. And then ultimately what happened was the grand jury followed up on the DA's suggestion and they did indict them. However, now there's the belief, the working belief, because I spoke to the DA's office yesterday, they're going to do everything they can to put this back towards the grand jury and re-indict him. You have to remember something here, You have to remember something here, that the DA's office can still, as I indicated here, they can still move forward and continue to charge him because they want to keep all their options open here. But you do have the tampering charges. And those are the charges that I've been told from many individuals, those are the stronger charges for the state, because you've got them, quoting other people, you got them dead to rights. Including numerous people, and that's the quote they use. You got them dead to rights on that one. The state with the murder charges, it's going to be a bit of a challenge there, they feel. But again, they were able to get the indictment.
So let me ask you this. We know he's also facing federal charges. Does this state ruling affect that federal case at all?
It does not at all, I've heard this from so many people. I know this for a fact because I've studied so many cases. I've covered them, my experience. 2 separate, And the president of the union yesterday said to me, and this is what it goes back to again, that everybody believes the feds have a stronger case. You also have to keep in mind that the federal government has the ability to really swing a large hammer. They come in, and that's why they're almost unbeatable in federal cases, because they are just so powerful in the way they're able to get everything they need to build their cases. Federal government's much different from state. State government, you can indict. Federal government, you indict as well, but most of the time, those cases are 99% bulletproof.
I want to go back to something that you commented on briefly. Kim Ogg, as we know, is leaving office in roughly 9 months. The office will be transitioning even before the election. Will the new DA continue to pursue this case in a way that keeps it afloat?
Well, let me get to the part before we even talk about the new DA, okay? Because there's the potential that that new DA is someone who knows about this case in Shantier. The reality is, okay, if you're going to represent this case to the grand jury, you're going to have other attorneys obviously still continue. You might have the same attorneys work this. But you have a time in which attorneys are saying, wait a second, Kim Ogg might be leaving office. I'm not in the best of position with whoever might be the next DA. I'm looking to potentially jump. So what you have is you have the potential transition of lawyers already moving on before the new DA gets in. So they're looking out at the ability of where should I land, where should I go, and you still have this case that's waiting to be. That's why many people say, you know what could be the right move here is for Kim Ogg to just say, you know what, we're going to go after him on the state tampering. The feds, you guys take them on these other, on the color of law case that you guys have. Take them on that. You guys got them. That's what it really comes down to when talking to former federal prosecutors on this.
Okay. Well, I know you will continue to follow this for us. Thank you so much for waking up.
And real fast.
Yes, sir.
You know, Shantier, whoever, or the next DA, everyone's expecting it to be Shantier, but they could also just kick it to another county. They could just say, hey, you know what?
Oh, that's a good point.
We're going to recuse us. We're just going to go move it. But in reality here, I suspect that what's going to happen is it's going to get represented here, and we'll see what kind of charges get filed.
Okay, I appreciate it. If you want to continue to follow up on the case, head on over to our website, clicktohouston.com. There you will find several articles of our reporting throughout the past several years, 5 years now, on this case. And of course, Mario will continue to follow it. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
We appreciate it.